Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Burundi's president dies, leaving behind a tarnished legacy. A week of mourning's been announced for Pierre Nkurunziza. The government says he died of a heart attack, but some observers claim that he may have had coronavirus. Also, Tanzania's top opposition party claims that an attack on their leader is politically motivated. Freedom Mbawe is in hospital after having been beaten up on his way home in Dodoma. And Gabonese entrepreneurs struggle to make it through the coronavirus lockdown brought in for Libreville. In April, the government announced financial aid would be available, but most eligible businesses say they've yet to receive anything. But first, Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza has died. The 55-year-old began feeling ill on Saturday before passing away on Monday. He had been due to step down from 15 years in power following last month's election of his hand-picked successor, Evariste Ndayishimiye. At least 1,200 people have been killed and around 400,000 have fled unrest sparked by Nkurunziza's eventually successful 2015 bid for a third term. His opposition said the move was unconstitutional. Burundi's response to the pandemic's also been criticised, 83 cases and 1 death officially recorded. But doctors in Bujumbura have reportedly said that the true figures are being underreported. The government said that Nkurunziza died of a heart attack, but there is scepticism from some observers. His wife was evacuated to Nairobi to be treated for coronavirus at the end of May. Earlier, I spoke to Innocent Muhozi, a Burundian journalist who was forced into exile in Rwanda in 2015, and asked him to tell us more about some of the observations that Nkurunziza may not have died of a heart attack alone.
Burundi is maybe the only country in the world where there has been no measure to prevent and to protect the people against coronavirus. Meetings, churches, football matches, marriage, and so on and so on. All those things still going on with not a single measure except telling people to clean their hands. Even no masks are used. So, a few weeks ago, Burundi expelled the representative of World Health Organization, and Burundi is claiming now that they have no health capacity to deal with this virus. So it's today people are dying every day. There's not a single Burundian who don't know a friend or a family member who has died because of this virus, and the government still in a position of denial. So the First Lady, Mr. Buchumi, Denise, has been evacuated more or less 10 days ago to Nairobi because of the same virus. So it's almost obvious that Mr. Nkurunziza has been attacked also by the coronavirus. And for sure, some other members of his family and members of his political party will surely be attacked also by the coronavirus, because the only protection they've been claiming is God protection, saying that Burundi cannot be attacked by coronavirus because Burundi is under protection of God, under benediction of God. And so it's almost obvious for all Burundians that Mr. Nkurunziza has not been a victim of a heart attack, but of coronavirus.
Well, looking at the country's political situation, Evariste Ndayishimiye was due to be sworn in August to take over from Nkurunziza. The country struggled with political and social unrest for the last 5 years. Will Nkurunziza's death change any of that?
Almost nothing will change, because Mr. Evariste Ndayishimiye has been saying many times during this campaign that he will continue the steps of Mr. Nkurunziza. And if you look at the people who promoted Mr. Ndayishimiye, the generals who imposed almost him to Mr. Nkurunziza, they are the same ones who have been ruling the country, who have been the main decision makers of those last 15 years. The killings, the disappearance, the raped person, and so many other disasters, corruption. They are the same persons who have been doing all those things, who have been really disaster for Burundi those last 15 years. So these people stay in place. They will be the one to continue to take all the decisions. So no one think really in Burundi that there will be any change after Nkurunziza left.
Do you think there's anything positive about the legacy that he's leaving behind?
Oh, the legacy he left behind is a disaster. If you're not a member of the his political party or the militia he created, all Burundians today will tell you that it's a disaster, total disaster, economic disaster, social disaster, security disaster. More or less 500,000 refugees. The country is one of the two most poor in the world today. This is the legacy of Mr. Nkurunziza.
Innocent Muhoozi there speaking to me a little earlier on. Now, the head of Tanzania's main opposition party was attacked in Dodoma on Tuesday. Supporters of the vocal critic of President John Magufuli say that the ambush was politically motivated.
On Tuesday, Tanzania's Prime Minister went to visit opposition leader Freeman Mbowe, who is currently in hospital. He was attacked by unidentified assailants on Monday evening. But his party said it was a politically motivated attack ahead of October's presidential election.
Jeshi la polisi linapaswa lipanue wigo wa uchunguzi wake. Hili si jambo la kawaida, si tukio la kawaida. Kama watu wanamshambulia mtu huku akimwambia wewe unaisumbua sana serikali, tuone utafanyaje kampeni.
The police declared it was an incident like any other and said it was forbidden to use it for political purposes. In recent months, Mbowe accused President John Magufuli of being in a state of denial over the coronavirus. Magufuli says the virus has been removed from his country by the powers of God. He has not taken extensive measures against COVID-19. Tanzania stopped updating its cases in April. Magufuli's supporters say he is a man of the people, but the opposition denounced an increasingly authoritarian leadership style since he came to power 5 years ago. Mbowe is the leader of the opposition in parliament, but he has yet to say if he will be a candidate in October's presidential election.
Look now at some news in brief. A Sudanese commander turned himself in to the International Criminal Court to face war crimes charges over his role in the Darfur conflict. Ali Kushaib is wanted on 50 charges related to crimes against humanity committed between 2002 and 2004. Prosecutors claim that, as a leader of the notorious Janjaweed militia, he orchestrated massacres of ethnic African rebels who launched an uprising against the Arab-dominated government of now-ousted leader Omar al-Bashir. Egypt's accused Ethiopia of stalling talks over a mega dam being built on the Nile. Addis Ababa began construction a decade ago, sparking tensions with Khartoum and Cairo, who fear that their access to the Nile's waters would be affected by the hydro project. The three countries restarted the negotiations this week, but Egypt suspects that Ethiopia has already made its mind up over a timeline to fill in the dam. At least one person's died in severe flooding in Ghana's capital. The military and disaster officials have been using speedboats and rescue missions in Accra. Several communities have been forced from their homes by heavy rains that began Monday evening. Now in Gabon, partial lockdown in and around Libreville has been extended until June 25th. The restrictions threaten several businesses who are struggling to stay afloat. In April, the government announced the creation of an emergency fund to support entrepreneurs during the COVID-19 fightback. But more than 2 months later, many companies eligible for help say that they still haven't received a penny. Our team reports.
Economic activity in Libreville has been hit hard by a partial quarantine. On this commercial street, many stores are still shut as businesses struggle to make it through the health crisis. Nearby, Stefan leads an environmental consultancy. In the absence of contracts, he has had to put most of his 12 employees on a technical leave. His company is on the verge of bankruptcy.
C'est une situation extrêmement grave pour l'économie gabonaise. Je ne sais pas si on aurait pu proposer autre chose que ce confinement généralisé, et d'ailleurs qui continue. Et nous sommes en train d'aller au 12e mois où on ne sait pas si on va tenir le coup.
Companies are collapsing, particularly in the construction and public works sector. Emery Mbina comes to supervise work on one of his few construction sites that are still operational. His company has had to apply for support from the 225 billion francs CFA emergency fund launched by the government.
On va dire que cette aide, elle est la bienvenue parce que toutes les activités sont bloquées. Nous sommes en pourparlers, en discussion pour quelques ajustements concernant certains documents que nous n'arrivons peut-être pas à remplir.
Entrepreneurs have to provide several documents to this crisis unit at the Ministry of the Economy. So far, 150 files have been received, but no payouts have yet been made.
Il faut d'abord être à jour de ses obligations fiscales et sociales. C'est le principal critère. Il y a ensuite des analyses de dossiers en fonction de chaque dossier pour identifier les particularités de chacun des dossiers.
Thousands of small-scale Gabonese entrepreneurs are struggling to comply with the fiscal and social obligations required to qualify for aid.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa. Thanks for joining us. Do so again. Take care.